during the process of a discussion, we thought we have to come up with an actual concrete vision of Japan. And that's important. Because if all of you also business leaders know that the importance of running societies, running organization is that you need to have a clear vision. If you don't have a clear vision, all the resources will not be gathered, and there is no sense of direction. You don't know which way to run. If you have a clear vision, people will know about what roles to play and which direction to go, and they will be motivated as well. So clear vision is quite important. So, but in case of Japan, we don't have a clear vision. And I don't know what to do to make Japan a better country or better society. So what I decided to do was, after discussing lots of issues in politics, like in economy and also finance and social affairs, and also education and also foreign affairs, everything like we discussed in G1, I decided to write and then come up with a concrete vision, which we call as 100 actions. The reason why it's 100 is that I'm a venture capitalist, so I know that if you do 5 actual good actions in a company, if you can implement it, the company will become better for sure. If it's a big corporations, it's 10. You need to take 10 real actions. And if you can execute and implement well, the company will turn around. In a country, I thought that it's 100. So I should come up with 100 items. And then, at the same time, why is action? Proposal is not enough. So you need to come up with the action. So I came up with the vision called 100 actions. It took me 4 years to write all of it, because I'm not the expert in politics, but you have to be able to formulate vision. Unless you can imagine which way to go, you cannot implement that in reality. So I decided to write by asking, like I said, G1 Policy Research Institute. So I asked lots of friends of mine to get together, and we'll gather all the experts' knowledge, and then start writing. And then 4 years later, so I started in July 2011, and last year in July, I completed all the 100 actions and on the website. And after 6 months after completion, we made up a book called Moving Japan 100 Action. This was published only in February 22nd. And this, if you read, will show you about the first chapter. The first action you have to take is setting about what is the value and what is the credo of Japan, what is the actual concepts of Japan should be heading. Second action is the expectation for Japanese people. Third is expectation for politicians. And fourth one is about bureaucrats. And then fifth one is about our legal system, and then also after media. And after that, we talk about Ministry of Trade and Industries. And then we talk about Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So by sector and sector, with the frameworks, we talk about economic issue and policies, as well as like foreign issues and also military issues as well. Everything we talk about. And then 93 to 98, we talk about the Constitution, how the Constitution should be made. In 99, we talk about the priorities. What kind of priorities? 5 actions of 100. And the last 100th action, we talk about also how to implement, what kind of what kind of methods we should take to execute those 100 actions. So this is the actual vision. And after I write, I became very optimistic about the future of Japan. We know what to do, and we know what to be done, and we know how we should do. And it's not easy. It's not easy because most of the things that could not be done was because those people, they're quite a strong, powerful lobby against it. Like some people who have invested or like vested interest. They want to. If we are to change, they will come up very strongly against. We call it like a hard rock bedded resistance. Will emerge, but we need to work on it. And there are some things that is called taboo. whenever we talk about immigration, there are strong resistance about Japanese society to talk about that. But we have talked about that immigration issue, that we need to have more and more workforces coming from abroad and live. And we have to open up. And we talk about those issues in that 100 actions. So this is clear. What we did was that gather leaders, and then we talk as a community, and they become influential in politics, and also in economy, in science, and also in culture, in sports. And this way we can invigorate Japanese societies. We have a clear vision. And one people cannot do things, so we always take initiative. Whenever somebody will take initiative, we have good followers. And then therefore politicians and also private sector, everybody will discuss, and we try to make it as open as possible. So whatever discussed, we published on the website, and so that people will know what kind of things have been discussed in G1. And so that's the, and then we came up with a vision. I study about the history of the world, and then I study about how can a country could be changed. And how a country can be changed means, when was the time the country actually changed, or nation actually changed? And I came up to the conclusion that it's always revolution. Revolution will change society and countries. So what is the elements needed for revolution? And I came up with 3 basic elements that is going to be needed to change the country through revolution. One is that you need to have collective leaders in those revolutions. Second is that you need to have a clear vision and thoughts. In case of let's say French Revolution, there's thoughts of Rousseau, and in case of also in case of Russian Revolution, it was Marx and also Lenin. And in case of Japanese Meiji Revolution, Meiji Restoration, it was a thought of Mito School. And you need to have schools, you need to have thoughts behind it. And third thing you need is the power to be able to change. In those days, it was more like a military power. And what about now? So what I thought that we need to have a collective leaders, which is the G1. We have asked all those collective leaders to come in, and we ask them to act each field and each power, and with collectively, sometimes individually, we work towards changing Japan. Second thing I mentioned is about thought and vision. We have set up on the 100 actions. Third thing we need is power. In those days, the power means it's more about the people's mass of the people on the street, what we saw in Arab Spring, or we saw in Hong Kong in Umbrella Revolution. We saw people on the street and demanding for changes. But in the society of Japan, where democracy has prevailed, and there's a freedom of speech, you don't have to go into the street, or we don't have to do revolution. We call it quiet revolution. Quiet revolution is that communicating to the people and changing through the election process is going to be needed. So nowadays the power is going to be on communication. So what we did was that, I think you may have seen some of the video clips showing that we have started to do a TV program. I was a TV host. I look like a TV host, right? I started to dress like a TV host. And then not only TV host, I produced it. And I not only I produced it, I cast it. The casting was done, producing is done, host, I was a TV host, like anchor person. And not only that, I have raised money as a commercial. And so I asked the sponsors, and then I proposed that to TV station. So it's actually being done by myself from the beginning to the end. And that was on air for 3 months in Japan. And I published everything on the internet. So that way, we are changing as a movement of Japan. So that's what we are working on. So I mentioned about entrepreneurship and innovation. Initially, what I did was creating a business school and making number one to educate leaders. Second thing I did was creating venture capital to create new industries. And the third thing I did was disseminate information by publishing and communicating to the public about and changing the the mindset of people. And that was done under the Globis umbrella, which has been doing well. But beyond that, I started to work for the bigger entity, which is Japan. I'm working on Japan to change through collecting leaders to get together to work for the direction written on 100 actions and then gradually change the societies. You can see that Japan is changing drastically at this moment because there are lots of people working for it. And it's not only the people you see in the politics, but because I also serve on the education reform, and also I also served last year on the one of the important committee as well. So there are quite a few people, and we always get together to discuss about what to be done and what to be said in which committee and what action to be taken. And that is being done in very publicly and in a very democratic way. So that the economy is also shaking as well. So I'm very optimistic about the vision of Japan.